Picture this. You're driving down the highway in your Ford F-150, feeling pretty good about that 13,500-pound towing capacity. You've hauled boats, trailers, maybe even helped a buddy move his entire house. But then you see it on the news. A blue whale washed up on a beach somewhere and scientists need to move it. And suddenly you're wondering, just how many F-150s would it actually take to tow the largest animal that has ever existed on planet Earth? Well, buckle up because we're about to find out if America's best-selling truck can handle nature's ultimate heavyweight champion. Let's start with what we're working with. The 2024 Ford F-150 isn't just some regular pickup truck, it's an absolute beast when properly equipped. We're talking about the top-tier configuration here. The 3.5-liter EcoBoost V6 engine, Super Crew cab, 4-wheel drive, and the Max Trailer tow package. This setup delivers that maximum 13,500-pound towing capacity that Ford loves to brag about. That's enough to haul a fully loaded travel trailer, a decent-sized boat, or about 6.5 Honda Civics chained together. Not bad for something you can pick up at your local dealership. But here's where it gets interesting. That 13,500 pounds sounds impressive until you realize what we're up against. Blue whales don't mess around when it comes to size. These ocean giants are the largest animals that have ever lived. Bigger than any dinosaur. Bigger than anything that crawled, walked, or swam across this planet in the entire history of life on Earth. And when I say big, I mean absolutely, mind-blowingly massive. Your average northern hemisphere female blue whale weighs in at around 112 metric tons. Now, let me put that in perspective for you. That's 247,000 pounds. To give you an idea of just how insane that number is, it's like having 133 mid-sized cars all stacked on top of each other. It's the weight of about 33 elephants. It's heavier than most commercial aircraft when fully loaded with passengers and cargo. This whale is so massive that its heart alone weighs about 400 pounds, roughly the same as a full-grown grizzly bear. Its tongue weighs as much as an elephant. Even a newborn blue whale calf tips the scales at 3 tons and stretches to 25 feet long. So, let's do some quick math here. If one F-150 can tow 13,500 pounds and our whale weighs 247,000 pounds, we're looking at about 18 Ford F-150s just to match the pulling power needed. 18 trucks all lined up, engines roaring, trying to budge this oceanic monster. But that's just for your average female. The real giants. That's where things get absolutely wild. The largest accurately measured blue whale on record was 29.5 meters long, or 97 feet for you American folks. This Antarctic female weighed 180 metric tons. That's nearly 400,000 pounds of pure whale. Some reports suggest that the biggest specimens might have reached 200 metric tons, pushing us into 440,000 pound territory. At that size, you're looking at roughly 30 F-150s working together just to generate enough theoretical towing force. 30 trucks. That's an entire parking lot worth of pickups all hooked up to one whale. But here's where reality starts to crash the party like an uninvited relative at Thanksgiving dinner. Towing capacity numbers look great on paper, but the real world doesn't care about your marketing brochures. Ford engineers will tell you something that every experienced tower knows. You'll always run out of payload capacity before you can actually pull that maximum weight. The F-150's payload capacity maxes out at 2,445 pounds when properly equipped, and that includes everything: the driver, passengers, fuel, and all the gear needed to make this hypothetical whale-moving operation work. Then there's the small matter of physics. These towing capacity numbers assume you're pulling something with wheels, something designed to roll smoothly down a road. Our blue whale, on the other hand, is basically a 100-foot-long, 400,000-pound blob of muscle and blubber that has exactly 0 wheels and was never designed to slide across anything rougher than ocean water. The friction alone would be astronomical. You'd be trying to drag what amounts to a living, breathing freight train across sand, concrete, or whatever surface you're working with. And we haven't even talked about the logistics nightmare of actually connecting 30 trucks to a single whale. How do you coordinate that many drivers? How do you distribute the load evenly? What happens when one truck breaks down or loses traction? The engineering challenges alone would make a rocket scientist break into a cold sweat. You'd need some kind of massive harness system, probably custom built from aircraft cable and industrial grade steel, all distributed across the whale's body to prevent tearing through the blubber. And that's assuming the whale is conveniently positioned on flat ground with perfect traction conditions. More likely, you're dealing with sand, which turns your 30 F-150s into 30 very expensive paperweights, as their tires spin uselessly while trying to find grip. But let's pretend for a moment that we've solved all the mechanical problems. We've got our 30 trucks, our custom whale hauling apparatus, and somehow we've managed to coordinate all the drivers with military precision. What happens when you actually hit the gas? Physics has some harsh lessons waiting. The whale's massive bulk creates what engineers call rolling resistance, except there's no rolling happening here, just pure, brutal friction. It's like trying to drag a skyscraper sideways across a parking lot. The amount of force required doesn't just add up, it multiplies exponentially with the whale's contact area and weight. Meanwhile, your F-150 engines are screaming in protest. These trucks are designed for highway towing, not for this kind of apocalyptic pulling contest. The 3.5-liter EcoBoost engines would be running at maximum output, transmissions overheating, cooling systems pushed beyond their limits. You probably see trucks dropping out of the convoy within minutes as they overheat, break down, or simply give up the ghost under the impossible strain. And here's the kicker. Even if somehow miraculously you got this whale convoy moving, you'd be crawling at maybe 1 mile per hour if you're lucky. The fuel consumption would be absolutely catastrophic. Each truck would be burning through gas like it's going out of style, probably getting something like 2 miles per gallon under these conditions. You need a dedicated fuel truck following the convoy just to keep the operation running. But wait, there's more. Blue whales aren't just heavy, they're also incredibly long. We're talking about animals that can stretch over 100 feet from nose to tail. That's longer than 3 school buses parked end to end, and about the size of a football field. So even if you somehow manage to get your 30 F-150s coordinated and moving, you'd essentially be piloting the world's most expensive, slowest, and most unwieldy road train. Good luck making any turns, navigating under bridges, or explaining to the Department of Transportation why you need to shut down entire highways for your whale-moving operation. The more you think about it, the more ridiculous it becomes. You need traffic control, permits from multiple government agencies, environmental impact studies, marine biologist supervision, and probably a small army of engineers just to attempt something this insane. The insurance paperwork alone would probably weigh more than the average pickup truck. So, here's the truth. While mathematically you might need around 18 to 30 Ford F-150s to match a blue whale's weight in pure towing capacity, in reality, you could line up 100 of these trucks and still not budge that whale an inch. It's not about the numbers on paper. It's about the cold, hard reality of trying to move something that evolution designed to glide effortlessly through water, not slide across dry land. The blue whale wins this matchup so decisively that it's almost embarrassing for the trucks. These ocean giants have been dominating their weight class for millions of years, and no amount of American engineering is going to change that fundamental truth. So here's the bottom line. Mathematically, you need somewhere between 18 and 30 Ford F-150s just to match a blue whale's weight in raw towing power. 18 trucks for your average whale, 30 for the absolute giants. But in the real world, you could line up 100 F-150s and still wouldn't budge that whale a single inch. The friction, the logistics, and the sheer impossibility of it all makes this less of a towing challenge and more like trying to drag a skyscraper across a beach with a bunch of really expensive pickup trucks. The truth is, blue whales have been winning the heavyweight championship of planet Earth for millions of years, and no amount of American truck engineering is going to change that. These ocean giants evolved to glide effortlessly through water, not slide across parking lots. They're basically nature's way of saying, "Hold my krill," to every other creature that ever thought it was big. Your F-150 is still an incredible machine that can haul just about anything you'll realistically need to move. But when it comes to blue whales, even America's best-selling truck has to tip its hat and admit defeat. Some battles just can't be won with horsepower alone. But what if we changed the script entirely? What would happen if you kept adding turbos to the biggest engine in the world? Watch the video on your screen to find out just how badly that would go. Thanks for watching.